Hey y'all, Becca here. Welcome to yet another weekly guidance for the week of April the 10th, 2022. I hope you guys have been having a great, relaxing weekend. We are going to get into these messages, but before we do, these are general messages. So, baby girl, baby boy, they may or may not resonate. If they do, that is awesome. Leave me a comment. Let's converse. If they did not, take what you need and the rest because, baby, they are general. If you would like to get a reading that is more catered to you, make sure you click the link in my description box to book a personal reading. I'm actually having a 25% off sale until 420 using the code Liddy. So, go ahead over to my website, book you a reading, get you a little bit off of it, and let me get you together, okay? That being said, and I feel like I say this every week, but I'm doing readings a little differently this week, okay? I'm using only Oracle. Um, I am using my trusty dusty Threads of Fate Rose Gold Edition. And then as a supporting card, I'm actually using a new deck that I have been maneuvering through, gifted to me by my niece Chelsea. Thank you, girl. This is the Two Hoodoo for You deck by Sinalise. So shout out to Sinalise. Um, and I've been loving it. It's a hoodoo deck. Y'all know I love hoodoo. Okay, y'all know. Okay. So I've been quite enjoying this deck. All right, so let's get into the reading. If you follow me on my Mob Conjure Instagram, which I don't know why you wouldn't be following me, and if you're not, I suggest that you fix that expeditiously. But if you follow me on that account, then you know that I gave you guys a sneak peek of what the card is. And so the card for the week, excuse me, is Higher Perspective, okay? And the supporting card from the Two Hoodoo for You deck is Bible. Child, not me starting with these hiccups already. Jesus, okay? So, when I first saw this duo come out, because I already had in my mind what I wanted to say about Higher Perspective, but this just added a little bit more razzle dazzle to it. And when I saw this card come out to support Higher Perspective, it automatically made me think about grade school, right? It made me think about how, in order for you to advance to the next grade, that you had to meet certain requirements, you had to learn certain things, and you had to prove that you learned these things either by an end of the year test, or like where I was growing up in Virginia, they were called SOLs, the standard of learning. And those determined whether you were adequately versed in the requirements for you to pass to the next grade, right? So, example, when you went to kindergarten, you went all year, you learned different things, right? All of the things that you learned were part of a curriculum, right? And so this curriculum was put together for your specific age group. So it was put together for kindergartners in order for them to learn the things that they need to learn to advance to the next level, to the first grade, right? And then when you get to first grade, it's the same thing. In order to advance to second, you have to learn so much, you have to know so much in certain things, and da da da, right? Life is the same way, unfortunately. Um, and the reason that I say that is because a lot of times, especially in situations where we need a higher perspective, where we need to look at something differently from another altitude, from another angle. I feel like at times we search for things that are outside of ourselves in order to give us those answers at that altitude, right? But the thing about it is, having a higher perspective, in my opinion, is just putting to use the things that you have learned along your journey. We don't go through these things that we go through for no reason, self inflicted or otherwise, okay? Because some of us are just damned hard headed and we just determined that we're going to do what we want to do. And, okay, but whether self inflicted or not, there are things that we have learned from these experiences that we have been through within our life, And these things are not just to be cast to the side. These things are not just, oh, I went through that, been through that, I'm done with that, da 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 da. These are things that you are supposed to be putting into use to help you elevate to the next level, to help you see something from a higher perspective, right? Because think about it, if you're standing in a tree and you're looking down, right? You're looking down at what you've already climbed up. You're looking down from whence you came, right? Which means you've already been there, which you've already experienced the second limb, the third limb, the fourth limb, right? You've already experienced that's here. So, in order for you to really utilize what it is you learned, let me rewind that. In order for you to have a higher perspective, that just calls for you utilizing what you already learned, right? Because as you climb a tree, it gets harder and harder to climb. But there are ways that you have climbed that tree that were helpful, and you compounded on top of each layer of this tree that you climbed, right? You took a little bit from the third limb. Okay, well, I did this. Let me do this too, but let me add a little bit more to it, right? This is why I say that we are always and forever will be students of life. As long as you are drawing breath on this planet, you are a student of life. So there is always something to be applied. Okay? Wisdom is knowledge applied. I'm going to say that again. Wisdom is knowledge applied. So, are you applying the things that you have learned in order to gain this higher... Let me redo that. Are you applying the things that you have learned in order to gain this higher perspective? Are you putting to use the things that you have been through in order to look at something differently? Are you open to looking at things differently? This week will find you having to look at something from a different perspective. And I don't know why, as humans, we're so against seeing things from a different view or a different perspective. I think it's because we get so fixed in our energy. We get so fixed in our thinking, and we get so rigid to the point where we don't want to see anything else, right? But there's always another perspective. There's always another way to do something, even if you acting like you don't want to acknowledge it. Okay? So this week, take some time out to go over the things that you have learned. Notice I didn't say get stuck in. I said go over the things that you have learned. Slow down some and see how it is you can apply things that you've already learned to get a different perspective. And be open when you see this new perspective to utilizing it. Okay, let's not make things harder than they need to be this week. The energy is already very... Okay, let's not. I'm going to get out of here because I am honestly trying my best to make my video shorter because I don't like talking for 20 minutes. Just being completely honest. So, I don't feel like it's always a necessity to have a long video to get the point across. Okay? So, I hope you guys have a great week. Make sure if you like to get weekly encouragement, weekly ramblings from me, to sign up for my email list. My email that goes out on Sunday is always a continuation or an addition to the weekly message on here. So if you are interested in taking a deep dive from a personal standpoint, make sure you hit me up in my email list. Okay, I'll leave that down below. If you would like to book a reading, absolutely do that. Remember, 25% off until 4/20. I hope y'all have an amazing week. Y'all know my slogan: be great, get bread, stay all the way live, and with everything be intentional. Peace.